Hello and welcome back to Euro Football Daily, where today we are running through 10 players who are destined for €100 million transfers. Let's get started. 10. Reece James. Of the 12 players to be signed for over €100 million, none are defenders or goalkeepers, with a massive 83% of them being classified as forwards. It's therefore unlikely we'll see defenders moving for 9-figure sums anytime soon, but if anyone could, it'll be Reece James. The 22-year-old has experienced a meteoric rise to the top in the last few years, going from Championship regular with Wigan in 2018-19 to Chelsea and England star, racking up 13 appearances for his country to date. The standard of his performances for the Blues over the last 18 months have elevated James into discussions for the world's best right-back, alongside Trent, Cancelo and Hakimi. His defensive stats are solid rather than spectacular, with a 73% tackle success rate undermined by his poor 44% aerial duel win rate. His 5.5 progressive passes that go 10 yards towards an opponent's goal, isn't far off Modric's 6.6, while his 0.28 expected assists per 90, higher than Marco Reus, ranks 4th out of all defenders in Europe. He's got 3 years remaining on his deal, but reported interest from Real Madrid means we wouldn't rule out a mega money move before too long. 9. Florian Wirtz. With Dembele, Sancho, Havertz, Pulisic and Werner all struggling to repay their monster fees over the last few years, there is a common perception here in England that the talent coming out of the Bundesliga isn't what it once was. What the naysayers fail to consider is that every one of those players has had to adapt to a new league, country and club, having moved under the age of 24, with 4 21 or younger. If anyone fails to realise Florian Wirtz's potential though, they'll be the ones living to regret it. Still just 19 years old, the Bayer Leverkusen forward, who can play off the right or centrally, already has 19 goals and 22 assists to his name in 78 games, or 0.5 goal contributions per game. He's played in the Europa League, been capped 4 times by Germany, and averaged a goal contribution every 110 minutes last term, 15 minutes fewer than Harry Kane, before sustaining a season-ending injury in March. If Wirtz comes back as the same player, he's a shoo-in for the Qatar World Cup. Shine there in Hansi Flick's increasingly confident Germany side, and a mega money move is surely in the Cologne Academy graduate's immediate future. 8. Victor Osimhen. On the 21st of November 2021, after going unbeaten through their first 12 matches of the season, Napoli finally lost their first game away at reigning champions Inter Milan. But aside from the loss of 3 points, their title challenge had been handed an enormous blow, with a fractured cheekbone sidelining Victor Osimhen for the next 2 months. By the time he returned, Napoli had fallen from 1st to 3rd, 4 points behind Milan, a gap that proved insurmountable. If the Little Donkeys had managed to secure their first title in 32 years though, there is every chance that their Nigerian frontman would be moving this summer for a €100 million fee. Instead, Osimhen will almost certainly be staying in Naples this summer, but there can be no doubting his talent. Despite injury issues which saw him miss 16 games, he finished the season with 18 goals and 6 assists, earning himself the award of Serie A Young Player of the Year in the process. With 14 non-penalty goals, 1 fewer than Ronaldo in 500 fewer minutes, in a season seriously impacted by injury, Osimhen with his incredible pace, strength and eye for goal would seem like a sure bet for a huge transfer in 2023. With Aurelio De Laurentiis having to sanction any move, the fee will likely be huge. 7. Ronald Araujo. On the 26th of April 2022, Barcelona announced that their Uruguayan centre-back Ronald Araujo had put pen to paper on a new deal which runs until 2026. So far so normal, until you hear about his buyout clause which was set at a staggering €1 billion. Considering he was signed from Uruguayan side Boston River for just €4.9 million in 2018, and has only just passed 80 games for the club, this was a remarkable show of faith. Anyone who's watched the Blaugrana over the last 2 seasons though, can see why they are so keen to ward off interest. Paired with a more languid Piqué, when Araujo was on the pitch in 21-22, Barcelona were a much better side, as shown by the fact that their La Liga win percentage with him was 63%, compared to a woeful 25% without him. Already valued at €52 million and capped 11 times by his country, as he forms part of a new generation of La Celeste talent alongside Valverde, Núñez, Jimenez and Bentancur, Araujo is set to be one of the most talked about defenders in world football for the next decade. If anyone wants him, they'll have to pay up. 6. Jamal Musiala. Bayern are shrewd operators. As seen this summer, they get their business done early, signing Ajax duo Gravenberch and Mazraoui by mid-June, and they rarely lose stars to their rivals. If Lewandowski leaves this summer, it will be their first big-name player to leave the Allianz Arena against their wishes since Kroos in 2014. The point is that the 32-time German champions use their standing within the game and enormous trophy haul to persuade their players that the grass isn't greener, as shown by the fact their record sale is still Douglas Costa's €41 million departure to Juventus in 2018. But if any Bayern player is going to get close to that seemingly cursed €100 million fee, it's Jamal Musiala. Still just 19 years old, the Stuttgart-born number 10, who could also play in a deeper midfield role, has taken to senior football like a duck to water, contributing 10 league goals and an average of 1 every 146 minutes, a figure topped by just 2 under-21 talents in the Bundesliga, Haaland and Wirtz. Transfermarkt value him as the 7th most expensive under-21 player in the world at €68 million, so it would already take upwards of €100 million to force them to sell. 5. Bukayo Saka. Everyone knows about the English tax, with 3 of the 20 most expensive signings of all time coming from these shores, a figure topped only by France and more than Brazil and Germany combined. Considering our lack of success at international level, it's clear that the Premier League's immense resources leads to overinflated fees for homegrown talent. Factor in that Saka is arguably Arsenal's most important player, the poster boy of the Mikel Arteta era, and a 3 Lions regular having been capped 18 times at the age of 20. If someone wants to sign the Ealing-born forward, they'll be forking out close to 100 million. Directly involved in 30% of Arsenal's league goals last season, and 0.5 non-penalty expected goals and assists per 90, the same as Bruno and City's £100 million man Grealish, it's no surprise the youngster is attracting admiring glances from Europe's biggest clubs. 4. Rafa Leão. Ask any AC Milan fan in the summer of 2021 whether Rafa Leão would one day be worth over 100 million, and most would have said that for all his talent, his lack of consistency and attitude would probably hamper his chances. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has subsequently revealed that when he first arrived at Milan, the former Lille forward was one of the very few he couldn't get through to. But at some stage in 21-22, it all clicked. The 23-year-old finished the season with 11 goals and 8 assists in 34 games. But that really doesn't tell the whole story, with Leao's 2 goals and 5 assists in the final 5 league games of the season, including a winner versus Fiorentina and 2 assists on the final day away at Sassuolo, ultimately sealing Milan's long-awaited Scudetto, and Leao the Serie A MVP award. With Leao having 2 years remaining on his current deal, which also includes a €150 million release clause, Milan must be concerned that if their emerging superstar shines again in 22-23, it'll be his final season at the San Siro. 3. Jude Bellingham. 4 years younger than Jadon Sancho and 3 years Haaland's junior, everything about Jude Bellingham suggests he will follow his former teammates out the door in the next 2 years. 90 Dortmund appearances already, including 65 League and Champions League starts, just 15 fewer than Dele Alli across the last 4 seasons. Frankfurt's Ndicka was the only under-25 player to top his 2,795 minutes in the Bundesliga in 21-22. In terms of Bellingham's skill set, whilst his defensive output is okay, you certainly don't want to anchor him to a deeper midfield role, with his dynamism, pace and ability in tight spaces, making him the perfect candidate to play in a box-to-box. He already ranks in the top 3% of midfielders in Europe for dribbles completed, touches in the opposition box, progressive passes received and assists per 90. With 4 goals and 6 assists in 18 European games, including a strike against Man City, Bellingham has already proven himself to be the man for the big occasion. Fearless, confident in his own abilities and with the right level of on-pitch aggression, the 6'1" star is already valued at just over €133 million by the CIES, good enough for 5th in the world. 2. Pedri. Unfortunately for Barcelona, 2021-22 proved that you cannot play 72 games in a season and not face some repercussions. After starring for the Blaugrana throughout 2021, Pedri went on to represent Spain at the Euros, where they reached the semi-finals, and the Olympics, where Araujo contested the gold medal match. He faced the consequences last term though, as the Tenerife-born midfielder missed 33 games with injury, limiting him to just under 900 league minutes, 17th in the Barcelona squad. In his absence, Nico, and in particular Gavi, emerged, paving the way for Frankie de Jong to head towards the Nou Camp exit door. If the Dutchman does eventually depart Barcelona, Pedri is going to have to take on even more responsibility next term, especially given the fact that during the 2021 campaign, his last full season, he created 40 chances 5th in the squad. The thing is though that 3 of those above him, Messi, Griezmann and de Jong, might well have all left before the start of next season, whilst 21-22 second biggest chance creator Dembele might follow suit. Whether Barcelona could be short of creativity next term or not, Pedri certainly isn't going anywhere. 1. Declan Rice. The driving force behind an improving West Ham side and one of the first names on Gareth Southgate's team sheet, 21-22 was the season in which Declan Rice leapt to European-wide attention. Not only did the former Chelsea Academy graduate shine in the biggest Premier League games, helping his side beat Liverpool, Chelsea and take points off Man City, but he played every minute of West Ham's Europa League knockout run, dominating games against Rakitic's Sevilla and Ndombele and Aouar's Lyon, helping the Hammers to their first European semi-final this century. What makes Rice stand out, aside from his obvious physical quality stemming from his 6'1" physique, is his reading of the game. He averages 2.8 interceptions per 90, 0.6 more than Liverpool's Fabinho and 0.7 more than Real's Casemiro. An easy and sensible riposte to that statistic though is that they both play for ball-dominant sides. But that doesn't explain how Rice can complete 6.6 progressive carries per 90, leagues above Fabinho's 4.3 and Casemiro's paltry 3.1, and a figure that ranks third in Europe for midfielders behind Bernardo Silva and Matteo Guendouzi. With 2 years remaining on his current deal and an option to extend by a further year, West Ham hold all the power. He'll cost at least 100 million unless he runs down his deal. So guys, that was 10 players destined for £100 million transfers. What did you guys think of the list, and do you see anyone else moving for 9-figure sums anytime soon? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to like it and subscribe to EFD for more great European content, and I'll catch you next time.